What's going on, everybody? This is Gordy Bonker, and this is the first ever episode of the Bonkers Cards podcast. I'm really excited to get this going and off the ground. It's something that I've been talking a lot about on some of the TikTok lives that you guys have been watching, and more recently today I did my first ever YouTube live. But I'm really excited to get this going. The Bonkers Card podcast is going to be a weekly podcast hosted by me, hoping to have some guests on around the hobby, talking about what's going on in terms of the vintage world, what's going on in the collecting world. I'm hoping to have guests on from auction houses, other content creators, collectors. So it's going to be an exciting collection of a whole different subset of people. This is going to be, you'll probably be listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. These are also going to be videos as well, so you can watch these on YouTube each week. So very excited to talk about that. My first episode is going to be a little more brief this week, just as an introductory into the podcast. Wanted to give a background on myself and how I've gotten to this point within the hobby. So Bonkers Cards, I started this account about a year and a half ago, just making vintage content, talking about different players in baseball history. I grew up a huge baseball fan. I'm a diehard Yankees fan. I grew up loving the history of baseball. I always thought that it was intertwined in American history, and it was something that I found really interesting. So I made this account, started talking about baseball history, and then shortly after that started collecting the 1954 top set, which you guys can see behind me if you're watching on YouTube. I documented all of the history of that set, the fun facts, the nuances, the challenges of building a set, and started recording content and video on that, posting videos up onto my TikTok and YouTube. And I got an immediate reaction. People were really interested in it, wanted to learn more about vintage cards. So I kept doing it. I kept making more and more videos as I accumulated more of the cards, showing off my checklist, giving tips to collectors on how they should go about building their sets. And it started to really take off. There was one night where I tried going on TikTok Live for the first time, and I was just showing two vintage cards in my hand, talking the story about whatever top set or Gaudy set that was. And somebody asked me if I was willing to sell the card. It was at that point that I realized that I could also start to buy and sell cards through TikTok and YouTube and build a community of people that were interested in collecting. So then on top of the YouTube videos and history of the cards I was making, I started buying and selling cards. So I'm sure there's a lot of you guys listening now that have probably purchased a card from me in the past. I love doing it. I love buying cards and getting to see the different sets. And I love being able to talk about the cards on TikTok Live and YouTube. So I've been doing that as well. I've gotten to meet a ton of really nice collectors, really awesome people. This hobby just generates really fantastic people, and it's been really fun to network and just build an audience of people that are interested in buying, selling, trading, and collecting old vintage baseball cards. So from the building of my sets and the content, I started going on TikTok Live more and started generating more of an audience and a following for it. So I've been going to shows more recently. I go to card shows almost every weekend. I'm buying vintage slabs mostly. I'm buying vintage all baseball cards, just trying to get more volume of cards that I can then go on TikTok Live and now YouTube Live and sell them back into the audience, which has been a lot of fun. I've been buying collections from the audience as well, people that have stumbled across my content and recognize some of the cards that I sell. They've been getting involved with it too. So it's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying it. That's kind of how the hobby journey has progressed for me. I've been making a lot of videos of going to shows. I'm going to continue to do that, continue to find different stories from dealers and collectors on their collecting journey, different stories from some of the baseball legends and heroes of the past. I'll continue to do that and bring that to the content. So I'm excited about that. I also think there's an opportunity to talk about what's going on in the hobby currently as well. I think over the next few years, as Fanatics has purchased all of the licenses to the major sports leagues, Fanatics has doubled down on their investments into sports cards. There's going to be more of an audience pool for people that do get interested in vintage cards, because as the hobby expands, so does those that are collecting in the vintage space. So I'm excited. I'm going to continue to make content in that space. I'm going to continue to give updates in terms of what's happening with the Fanatics acquisition. I'm going to be talking about the sports cards market, which I believe is going to have a huge demand to get people interested and to learn more about what's going on, who are the movers and shakers in the hobby. So I'm excited to do that. I'll also be giving updates on my personal collections, what I'm looking to get into, what I'm looking to continue to build. I've done set builds in the past, so I'll give those updates on my podcast as well. Anything in terms of card shows that are upcoming, I'm going to auctions that are going off. I'll be sharing with you guys cards that I'm following at the different auctions, whether it's REA, PWCC, any of the big auction houses. I'll be giving those updates. I'll also be giving plugs for my giveaways. As you guys can see, I'm holding 2 Roberto Clemente cards. We're getting super close to the 500 subscriber giveaway on YouTube. All you guys need to do to enter, if you're watching this on video here, you can see both of these Roberto Clementes. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, free to enter. I'm giving them away at 500 subscribers. So I'm going to be talking all about my giveaways, updates that I'm doing in the hobby, trade shows I'm going to, card shows I'm going to, auctions that I'm seeing. I'm going to be doing it all and giving all those updates here on the podcast. So really excited for you guys to check it out. I'm going to be uploading these podcasts to YouTube so you can watch it there. You can also download and listen wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. But that's going to be the background for Bonkers Cards Pod. I'm excited to have some guests come on. Excited to see what we can build in the future for this. But thank you guys all so much. If you guys have been following me for some time now, you've been watching the TikTok lives, you've been seeing my video content, I just want to say thank you. It's been really fun to see a lot of familiar names and faces continuously join in on the lives, continuously post in the Facebook group. I've got a Facebook group that you guys can join as well. If you guys have seen my TikTok page, I've got it all linked in my TikTok page on how to join my Facebook community. I'm just really excited to see where this goes, and thank you guys all so much. Again, this first podcast episode, it's going to be brief, just as a highlight of where I want this to go. Hopefully I'll be able to have some more podcast episodes dropping the next couple weeks, like I said, with guests in the hobby, updates of what's going on. It shouldn't just be me talking here for the next 10 minutes. So I'll leave it at that. This will be the first episode of the Bonkers Cards podcast. I'm so excited to have you guys and looking forward to doing more in the future. Thanks, guys.